So, Ethan Ralph just called out DSP on one of his streams, citing the Kino Casino as probably the main reason why he decided to even look into DSP, much less bring him up. And in his stream he used, some common detractor buzzwords, talk about the scamming, the other stuff with the mobile game, everything you'd expect. So we did look into DSP a little bit. However, just being absolutely clear, Ethan Ralph doesn't give a shit about scamming people. You talk about, assholes on the internet or scammers on the internet. Ethan Ralph may be one of the few people who has just as long a history of this as DSP. And of course, the real reason he's calling out DSP is because of the Kino Casino. If you watched my last video, I mentioned that PPP and Andy Worski of the Kino Casino were involved at the early days of internet blood sports, specifically Ethan Ralph's kill stream, and later trolling Ethan Ralph after he fell off the rails. And they've kept up the trolling of Ethan Ralph. Obviously, the rage pig never forgets a death enemy. Unless they give him one of their baldos, then he becomes an avid defender of Nick Rekieta. But this has me looking more into the fruits of the Kino Casino's buddy trolling. In my last video, I focused specifically on Review Tech USA and his response. However, now we can add both Review Tech USA and Ethan Ralph to the list of lolcows who've been spurging out because Kino Casino let DSP lick their nuts for a few hours. And don't get me wrong, there is plenty to criticize about the way they're going about buddy trolling DSP, but this is really good bang for their buck. However, in situations like these where you have two lolcows, two genuinely bad people attacking each other on the internet, there can be a habit to take sides. And a few times this has happened, but most recently, I remember with the Lolcow Live podcast, Keemstar's little tard wrangling, the actions of Boogie 2988 left Wings looking very good, because while Wings, obviously, not a good person, next to Boogie doesn't look nearly as bad. And there were a significant amount of people who came out of the woodworks to defend Wings. People were, forgetting or playing off some of his past statements, some of his present statements and actions, just because he was put next to Boogie, who looked a lot worse. And so I just wanted to say, just remember, both DSP and Ethan Ralph are awful people. Somehow Ethan Ralph may be worse than DSP. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe if he continues to hide out in whatever shack he's in Mexico, he might just be out of it for so long, nothing will change. But when you're dealing with this kind of issue where there are two lolcows on different side, it can be easy to forget they're both lolcows. Don't think about it too much. They're both bad people. They're both lolcows. Don't try and take sides on this, because there is no side. There is no good side. They're both wrong.